Okay, I did not expect Honor to go this crazy in 2026 because the new Honor Win Turbo honestly feels like someone at Honor looked at every gaming phone complaint and just said, fine, let's fix all of it at once. This thing has a massive 10,000 mAh battery inside a body that's somehow still under 8 millimeters thick. And that alone sounds fake until you actually look at the specs in real-world tests. And trust me, the moment I started using this phone, I realized this is not your typical gaming phone anymore. This feels like a battery monster mixed with a flagship performance phone, and honestly, it might be one of the most interesting Android devices this year. So if you're into mobile gaming, battery life, crazy hardware, or just love seeing insane tech innovation, hit that subscribe button and drop a like because this phone deserves a full breakdown. Now first let's talk about the design because this is where Honor surprised me the most. Usually when a phone packs a battery this huge, you expect something thick and uncomfortable like carrying a power bank in your pocket. But the Win Turbo actually feels way more premium than I expected. The flat frame design gives it that modern flagship vibe, the camera module looks super aggressive, and even though it weighs around 216 grams, the weight distribution is honestly solid. It does not feel like a brick. And the crazy part is this phone still carries full IP ratings including IP68 and even IP69K water resistance, which is wild for a gaming-focused device. Most gaming phones still compromise on durability, but Honor went all in here. Then you turn on the display and immediately this thing screams flagship. You're getting a 6.79-inch OLED panel with 120Hz refresh rate, super high brightness, and crazy PWM dimming for eye comfort. Outdoor visibility on this thing is honestly ridiculous. Even under direct sunlight, the display stays bright and clear. Watching YouTube, Netflix, TikTok, gaming, everything just looks smooth and vibrant. Colors pop hard without looking oversaturated, and the bezels are surprisingly thin too. This genuinely feels like a premium media phone. But obviously the main reason people are looking at this phone is performance and battery life because this thing is honestly built different. Inside you get the Dimensity 8500 Elite chip paired with LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 4.1 storage, and in daily use this phone absolutely flies. Apps open instantly, multitasking is effortless, and gaming performance is seriously impressive. I tested heavy games like Genshin, Warzone Mobile, PUBG, and COD Mobile, and the phone handles all of them easily on high settings. Frame stability is actually one of the biggest strengths here. Even during long sessions, the phone keeps performance consistent without aggressive throttling. Now, I know some people are going to ask about cooling because unlike the original Honor Win, this turbo version does not include the built-in cooling fan. And honestly, I was worried about that too. But after using it for gaming sessions, thermals are still surprisingly controlled thanks to the massive vapor chamber and upgraded graphite cooling system. The phone gets warm, sure, but not dangerously hot. Honor clearly optimized the thermal management well enough that the missing fan is not a deal-breaker for most users. But okay, let's talk about the real superstar here. The battery life on this thing is honestly insane. 10,000 mAh inside a modern smartphone still sounds unreal to me. This is the kind of phone where battery anxiety completely disappears. I'm talking easily 2 days for normal users, and even heavy gamers are probably ending the day with battery left. During gaming, the endurance is ridiculous. Honor claims over 14 hours of gaming, and honestly, after testing it, I can believe it. If you travel a lot, game heavily, or just hate charging your phone constantly, this might actually be your dream device. And somehow Honor still added 80-watt fast charging on top of that. So even with this massive battery, charging speeds are still fast enough that you're not sitting around forever waiting. Plus, the reverse charging feature basically turns this phone into a power bank for your other devices, which is honestly super useful. Quick pause though, because if you're enjoying this review and want more videos covering crazy upcoming tech like this, make sure you subscribe right now because there are so many insane phones launching this year and I've got a lot more coming. Now, cameras are probably the biggest question mark here because gaming phones usually sacrifice camera quality. But surprisingly, the Honor Win Turbo is actually decent. You get a 50-megapixel main camera with OIS, and while this is definitely not competing with ultra-flagship camera phones, it performs better than expected. Daylight shots look sharp, colors are vibrant, dynamic range is solid, and social media content honestly comes out looking great. Night shots are acceptable too as long as there's some lighting around. The selfie camera is also perfectly fine for video calls and content creation. So while nobody is buying this phone purely for cameras, it definitely does not feel cheap. The speakers are another thing I genuinely loved. Dual stereo speakers on this phone sound loud and immersive with surprisingly decent bass. Gaming with speakers actually feels enjoyable instead of thin and tinny like many phones. Add the strong haptics and the whole experience just feels premium. Honestly, after spending time with the Honor Win Turbo, I think this phone represents something really interesting in the smartphone market. While most brands are chasing thinner designs and tiny battery improvements every year, Honor just decided to go completely crazy and build a phone that prioritizes endurance without sacrificing flagship features. And somehow they actually pulled it off. This phone feels like a glimpse into where smartphones should be heading because battery life is still one of the biggest pain points for users. So would I recommend it? If you care about insane battery life, gaming, media consumption, and overall performance, absolutely yes. The Honor Win Turbo is easily one of the most unique Android phones of the year, and honestly one of the most exciting devices Honor has made in a long time. Let me know in the comments if you would actually daily drive a 10,000 mAh smartphone because this thing is seriously wild. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next big tech review.